After the crushing defeat at Badr, the Quraysh were boiling with rage. They planned a massive, secretive army to crush the Muslims once and for all. 3,000 soldiers, hundreds of horses, camels, and armored warriors. A deadly battle was brewing, and every move was filled with strategy, betrayal, and revenge. But how did the Muslims respond to this looming storm? What happened next would change the course of history forever. Stay tuned to witness the full story of courage, tactics, and destiny. As-salamu alaykum. When the Prophet Muhammad reached Medina, he asked the companions about the prisoners. Abu Bakr Siddiq said, "O Messenger of God, these men are our relatives and our tribe. My view is to take ransom from them. This will strengthen us against the disbelievers. It is also possible that God guides them. They may later stand with us." The Prophet Muhammad said, "Omar bin Khattab, what is your view?" Omar said, "By God, my view is not the view of Abu Bakr. My view is to give my close relative to me. I will strike his neck. Give Aqil bin Abi Talib to Ali. He will strike his neck. Give the one related to Hamza. He will strike his neck. So God knows that we have no softness for the idol worshippers. These men are their leaders and chiefs." Omar said that the Prophet Muhammad liked the view of Abu Bakr. "He did not like my view. So it was decided to take ransom. The next day I went to the Prophet Muhammad and to Abu Bakr. They were both crying. I said, 'O Messenger of God, tell me why you and your companion are crying. If I find the reason, I will cry. If I do not find it, I will cry because you are crying.' The Prophet Muhammad said, 'I cry because of what came to your companions for taking ransom.' He pointed to a nearby tree. He said, 'The punishment was shown to me closer than this tree.' God revealed this verse. It is not for a prophet to have prisoners until he fights thoroughly in the land. You want the goods of this world, and God wants the next world. And God is mighty and wise. If a decree from God had not passed, a severe punishment would have taken you for what you received." The matter had already been settled with the view of Abu Bakr. So ransom was taken from the idol worshippers. The ransom ranged from 4,000 to 1,000 dirhams. The people of Mecca knew reading and writing. The people of Medina did not know it. So it was decided that whoever had no ransom would teach 10 children to read and write. When the children learned well, that became his ransom. The Prophet Muhammad also showed kindness to some prisoners. He released them without ransom. Among them were Matlib bin Hantab and Safi bin Abi Rafi. Abu Azar Jamahi was also released. He was later captured and killed in the Battle of Uhud. Among the prisoners was Abu al-Ayaz, the son-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad. He was not yet a Muslim. He had no ransom. He sent word to Zainab in Mecca. She was his wife. He asked her to send the ransom. When Zainab married, Khadija had given her a precious necklace. Zainab sent the ransom with that necklace. When the Prophet Muhammad saw the necklace, old memories returned. He wept. He said to the companions, "If you agree, I will return this necklace to my daughter." They agreed. The necklace was returned. The Prophet Muhammad freed Abu al-Ayaz on the condition that he would let Zainab go. Abu al-Ayaz accepted. Zainab made the migration. The Prophet Muhammad sent Zayd bin Haritha and an Ansari companion. He said, "Stay in the valley of Yaj. When Zainab passes, join her." They went. They brought Zainab to Medina. Later Abu al-Ayaz came to Medina. He accepted Islam. Among the prisoners was Suhail bin Amr. He was a strong speaker. Omar said, "O Messenger of God, break his front teeth. His tongue will fold. He will never speak against you again." The Prophet Muhammad refused. This was mutilation. There was fear of punishment from God on the Day of Judgment. In the Jewish tribe of Banu Qathma, there was a poetess named Asma. She was the daughter of Marwan bin Zaid. She wrote poems mocking Muslims. She spoke insultingly about Prophet Muhammad. She threw her menstrual cloths in the mosque. Before the Prophet returned from Badr, she wrote a poem. A blind companion, Umar bin Adi, heard it. He promised to kill her after the Prophet's safe return. After the victory of Badr, the Prophet returned. Umar took a sword at night. He entered her house and killed her. After Fajr prayer, the Prophet was informed. He asked if he would be blamed. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Two sheep will not clash their heads." This courage inspired others in the tribe. They had accepted Islam but were hiding in fear. The Prophet said, "If anyone wants to see someone who helped God and his messenger unseen, he should see Umar bin Adi." He also said, "Do not call him blind. He is insightful and aware." When Umar fell ill, the Prophet visited him. Umar had killed Asma on the 26th of Ramadan. Khalid bin Walid's brother, Walid bin Mughira, was freed after paying ransom. He accepted Islam. Khalid bin Walid accepted Islam after the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. Uthman bin Mazun passed away. He was the first Muslim buried in Jannat al-Baqi. After Badr, Fatima married Ali. This was in the month of Shawwal or Dhul Hijjah according to different reports. After Badr, Abu Darda accepted Islam. The Battle of Badr was the first armed clash between Muslims and the disbelievers. It was decisive. Muslims achieved clear victory. All of Arabia witnessed it. The loss saddened the disbelievers most. It was also a threat to Jews for their religion and economy. Since the Battle of Badr, the disbelievers and Jews burned with anger and grief. As God said, "You will find the strongest enemies of the believers are the Jews and those who associate others with God." Some people in Medina were companions of these two groups. They saw no way to protect their honor. They publicly embraced Islam. This was the group of Abdullah bin Ubay and his companions. They were also angry at Muslims, similar to Jews and disbelievers. A fourth group were the Bedouins around Medina. They were not interested in Islam or disbelief. They were looters and robbers. The success of Badr disturbed them. They feared a strong government in Medina. Their theft would be blocked. Hatred for Muslims grew in their hearts. Muslims were threatened from all sides. Each group acted differently. Each followed its own method to achieve its goals. The people of Medina secretly plotted. Some Jews showed open anger and hostility. People of Mecca threatened openly for revenge. They prepared for war publicly. A year later they attacked Medina. This battle became known as the Battle of Uhud. It affected the reputation of Muslims. To face these threats, Muslims took important measures. These show the leadership and planning of the Prophet Muhammad. The next episodes will present a brief outline of these plans. After the Prophet Muhammad came to Medina, he made a treaty with the Jews. The terms of the treaty were mentioned in previous episodes. The Prophet wanted the treaty to be fully respected. Muslims did not act against even a single word of it. The Jews had a history of betrayal and breaking oaths. They soon returned to their old ways. They began plotting within the Muslim ranks. They tried to cause disputes and unrest. They spread confusion and instigated fights. Ibn Ishaq narrates an incident. An old Jew named Shesh bin Kays was very hostile. He had great envy against the Muslims. He passed by a gathering of the companions. The Ansar of Aws and Khazraj were sitting together. He saw that their old enmity was gone. Islam had united them. This upset him greatly. He said, "Oh, the nobles of the tribe have united. By God, we cannot stay here after their unity." He ordered a young Jew to join the gathering. The young man mentioned the past wars and poetry. This caused disputes between Aws and Khazraj. People began to argue and boast over each other. Some sat on their knees to insult each other. One said, "If you want, we can restart the war." Both sides got angry. They said, "We are ready. The fight will be in Hara." People took weapons and went toward Hara. It was near a bloody battle. The Prophet Muhammad was informed. He went with the Muhajir companions immediately. He said, "O group of Muslims, God, what is this call of ignorance? After God guided you to Islam, and removed ignorance from your hearts. You still seek conflict? Hearing the Prophet's advice, the companions realized their mistake. They wept. Aws and Khazraj embraced each other. They returned obediently with the Prophet Muhammad. God had stopped the plan of their enemy Shah bin Qais. This is an example of the unrest Jews tried to cause among Muslims. They constantly plotted against the path of Islam. They spread false propaganda. Some embraced Islam in the morning and reverted by evening. They planted doubt in weak and naive hearts. If someone had financial dealings with them and became Muslim, they would make the way difficult. They demanded old debts and refused to pay what they owed. They said, "Your debt was owed when you followed your ancestral religion. Now that you changed your faith, there is no relation between us." The commentators mention such actions in Surah Al-Imran. The Jews had started these actions even before Badr. They began despite the treaty with the Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet and companions remained patient. They hoped for the Jews' guidance. They also aimed to maintain peace and security in the region. God helped the Muslims in the field of Badr. The Muslims gained honor and strength. Their fear spread across many lands. The Jews saw this change. Their hatred increased. Their jealousy grew. They showed open hostility. They began open rebellion. The most hostile among them was Ka'b bin Ashraf. His story appears later. The worst group among the three Jewish tribes was Banu Qaynuqa. They lived inside Medina. Their area was named after them. They were goldsmiths and blacksmiths. They were makers of metal vessels. They had large amounts of weapons. They had many fighting men. They were known for bravery. They were the first to break the pact. God granted victory to the Muslims in Badr. The pride of Banu Qaynuqa grew stronger. They increased their mischief. They increased their evil. They caused disputes. They created unrest. They mocked the Muslims. They harmed them. They troubled Muslim women also. The situation became serious. Their rebellion increased. The Prophet Muhammad came to them. He advised them. He warned them about the outcome of oppression. Their arrogance increased. A narration from bin Abbas is reported. When the Prophet returned from Badr, he gathered the Jews in their market. He said, "People of the Jews, accept Islam before a punishment comes to you like the punishment that came to the Quraysh." They said, "Muhammad, you should not be proud because you fought the weak of Quraysh. If you fight us, you will know. We are real fighters." Their answer was a clear declaration of war. The Prophet remained patient. The Muslims remained patient. They waited for the coming events. Their boldness grew. Soon they caused a riot in Medina. They sealed their own fate. They blocked their own path. An Arab woman came to the market of Banu Qaynuqa. She sold her goods. She sat near a goldsmith. He was a Jew. They wanted her to uncover her face. She refused. The goldsmith tied the edge of her clothing to her back. She did not know. She stood up. She became exposed. The Jews laughed. The woman cried out. A Muslim heard her. He attacked the goldsmith. He killed him. The Jews killed that Muslim. The family of the Muslim cried for justice. A fight began between Muslims and Banu Qaynuqa. The Prophet's patience reached its limit. He appointed Abu Lubaba over Medina. He marched with the army. Hamza carried the banner. They moved toward Banu Qaynuqa. The Jews hid inside their forts. The Prophet surrounded them. It was a Friday. It was the 15th of Shawwal. The siege lasted 15 days. God placed fear in their hearts. They surrendered. They accepted any judgment from the Prophet. They were tied under guard. Abdullah bin Ubay then acted. He insisted on their pardon. He said, "Muhammad, show kindness to my allies." Banu Qaynuqa were allies of the Khazraj. The Prophet delayed his answer. Abdullah repeated his request. The Prophet turned away. Abdullah grabbed the Prophet's collar. The Prophet said, "Let me go." Anger appeared on his face. He said, "Woe to you, let me go." Abdullah refused. He said, "I will not leave you. Show kindness to my allies. They saved me many times. Will you destroy them all in one morning? I fear the change of fate." The Prophet gave him a concession. He spared their lives. He ordered them to leave Medina. They left toward the land of Ad-Riyat in Syria. Many died soon after. The Prophet kept their property. He selected 3 bows. He selected 2 coats of mail. He selected 3 swords. He selected 3 spears. He took the share of Qums. Muhammad bin Maslama collected the remaining spoils. Before the Battle of Uhud, the Muslims had one last successful expedition. It took place in Jamada al-Akhir. After the Battle of Badr, the Quraysh were in confusion. When summer came, the trade season to Syria began. This created a new concern for them. Sufyan bin Umayyah was chosen to lead the caravan. He told the Quraysh, "Muhammad and his companions have made our trade route difficult. We do not know how to deal with them. They do not leave the coast. The local people support them. Ordinary people have joined them. If we stay home, our wealth will be lost. Our livelihood depends on trade in summer and winter." This caused a discussion among the Quraysh. Aswad bin Abdul Muttalib advised Sufyan, "Leave the coastal route and take the Iraq route." This route was long. It passed through Najd to Syria. It was far east of Medina. The Quraysh did not know it. Aswad advised Sufyan to take a guide. Furat bin Hayyan, from Banu Bakr bin W. Illinois, would guide them. The caravan left under Sufyan's leadership. The Muslims learned of the caravan's plan. Salat bin Enuman, a Muslim, overheard Naim bin Masoud discussing it. This was before the prohibition of alcohol. Salat rushed to the Prophet Muhammad. He informed him of the caravan and the route. The Prophet prepared an attack immediately. He sent 100 horsemen under Zayd bin Haritha Kalbi. Zayd traveled quickly. The Quraysh caravan camped at a spring called Qarda. The Muslims attacked suddenly. They captured the entire caravan. Sufyan bin Umayyah and his guards fled. The Muslims captured Furat bin Hayyan and 2 others. They seized large amounts of silver and vessels. The spoils were estimated at 100,000 dirhams. The Prophet Muhammad took Qums from the spoils. He distributed the rest among the soldiers. Furat bin Hayyan accepted Islam. This was the most distressing event for the Quraysh after Badr. They faced more anxiety and grief. They had 2 choices: either accept peace with the Muslims, or fight to regain their lost honor. The Quraysh chose war. Their desire for revenge increased. They began preparing to attack the Muslims. The Prophet Muhammad married Hafsa. Hafsa was the daughter of Omar bin Khattab. Her first husband was Kunais bin Qudafa. She had migrated with him to Medina. Kunais was martyred after being wounded in Badr. He left no children with Hafsa. After she became a widow, Omar considered her marriage. At that time, Ruqayyah, the Prophet's daughter, had passed away. Omar first suggested Hafsa's marriage to Uthman. Uthman said he would consider it. Omar mentioned it to Abu Bakr. He remained silent. Omar felt upset by this. He complained to the Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet reassured him, "Do not worry. I will arrange a better match for your daughter." The Prophet gave Hafsa in marriage. Hafsa passed away in 45 Hijri. Marwan bin al-Hakam led her funeral prayer. Her body was carried from Banu Hazm to Mughira bin Shuba's house. She was buried in Jannat al-Baqi. On the 15th of Ramadan, Hassan was born. He was the son of Ali and Fatima. He was their eldest son. The people of Mecca were burning with anger after their defeat in Badr. They suffered deep pain over the loss of their chiefs. They even stopped themselves from mourning their dead. They delayed the ransom of prisoners. They wanted to hide their grief from the Muslims. After Badr, they agreed to fight a major battle. They wanted to cool their anger. They began preparing for war. Among the Quraysh, Ikrimah bin Abu Jahl was very active. Safwan bin Umayyah was very active. Abu Sufyan bin Harb was very active. Abdullah bin Rabi'ah was very active. Their first step was to seize Abu Sufyan's caravan wealth. This was the caravan saved before Badr. They took all of it for war expenses. They told the owners, "Muhammad harmed you. He killed your chiefs. Help us with this wealth. We may take revenge." The Quraysh accepted this. They sold the entire stock. It was 1,000 camels. It was 50,000 dinars. They opened the door for volunteers. They invited Ahabish, Kinana, and the people of Tahama. They encouraged them in many ways. Safwan pushed Abu Azar, the poet, to provoke the tribes. Abu Azar had been captured in Badr. The Prophet Muhammad released him without ransom. He promised not to oppose the Prophet again. But Safwan tempted him with wealth. He tempted him with protection for his daughters. Abu Azar broke his promise. He began stirring the tribes with his poetry. They also prepared the poet Musafi bin Abdul Manaf. Abu Sufyan also became more active. His failure in the Sawiq raid increased his anger. The loss in the expedition of Zayd bin Haritha added more pressure. Their grief increased. Their desire for revenge increased. Their preparation for a decisive battle became faster. A full year passed. Their preparations were complete. Their army reached 3,000. Their allies joined them. Their chiefs decided to take women along. They wanted the presence of women to increase courage. 15 women joined the army. They had 3,000 camels. They had 200 horses. The horses were kept fresh. They were not ridden on the way. They had 700 coats of armor. Abu Sufyan became the commander. Khalid bin Walid led the cavalry. Ikrimah bin Abu Jahl assisted him. The banner was given to Banu Abd al-Dar.